Welcome to another podcast episode between Love Seat and Shakti Awakener Show.
Hi guys.
I'm like, okay, I thought you would be leading because I thought she's gonna. But okay.
We're a little like because it's been a few days with like really nice activations and let's say love codes. But for me, I don't want to reveal anything about that until you know. But today we're here to talk about other things, more how would you say?
More unique and special because it is about living life on the edge. And this is what most of the population is not doing, but it is something that we are doing that is constantly helping us be at the cutting edge of evolution and be in a constant growth and expansion, even if it feels dangerous, even if it doesn't make sense for the mind.
Yeah. So I would say definitely more high consciousness and more like we're now we're now speaking to the leaders who are already leading from this place of power and pleasure and your hearts, and also from men, let's say. But they want to go deeper. They want to go deeper into what is the highest expansion that they can have. And it's not about the practical things that you do on the outer reality that people try to teach you. We are talking about the cutting edge of expansion of consciousness and how we, as leaders and CEOs, live according to that and live according to the rules of the highest frequency, basically. Because our path has started with entrepreneurship, let's say, with conscious entrepreneurship, has started 5 years ago, 6 years ago. And ever since then, we have learned a lot of lessons about how to lead life and business according to the highest God states of being.
Yes.
And I think it has been quite of like a tumultuous time a couple of times, because we have never had an example of how to do this, and nobody around us has done this before. Nobody around us has taught us how to have a spiritual business but also be grounded into our power. And I think this is what we're also what we are also teaching women and leaders, and for you also more men,
And also working with men
in our mentorship containers, like not just how to be a leader in your power, but actually be at the cutting edge of evolution of consciousness and to be a leader of God in your business.
Yeah, I have a really good definition around that, which I really love what you shared. And I want to add a little extra spice. And I want to say that we are not teaching you how to build your business or how to scale it. We are actually helping you become the woman or the man who is embodied in that identity that can sustain it.
Exactly. That it's more about
without fragmentation, without losing yourself. We are teaching you how to be centered, as Indra said, in God power, in God states, so you can lead from unity, not from competition, from judgment, from lack and scarcity, even though it seems so easy to lead from that space, right? Because everyone is leading from that, and we meet a lot of leaders and very successful business owners and multimillionaires who, even though they reached this level, they are still leading from that scarce, limited human way because they think that this is the right business way. But we come here with this unique flavor of your genetics. We are teaching you how to lead according to your own DNA, which is a very groundbreaking, transformational information that is new. So of course everyone's like, oh, but can I trust it? Is this safe? Like, is this the right way? And we're telling you, yes, it is, because it comes from your DNA, it comes from your genetics, from this very powerful intelligence that is moving through you, that is creating the universe, that is giving power to all the beings on the planet, you know?
Exactly. And you will see this cutting edge of evolution at some of the greatest artists that are living now or have lived in the past. And when you look at some of their interviews or things like that, when you do your research, people have been living in this energy for quite some time if you are a more advanced soul and being. But now I think it's becoming more and more generalized, and I think we are part of the pioneers who are here to tell you there is a new way of leading business and life, that it doesn't have to feel icky or soulless, but it actually is according to the law of God. And personally, yes, it's not really my flavor to do business or like to teach business in this way, but I think
you can teach it now.
I've learned so many things, and I understood so much about high consciousness embodied in human form in all aspects of life, like relationships, business, and all of that. That ultimately, with the mentorships that I have for 1 year, we end up talking about mission, we end up talking about life purpose and business, and I end up coaching them also on how to become a spiritual mentor that is also successful and also like embodying her power.
Yeah, I want to speak a little bit to this and to this version of you, because I feel in the field that maybe are asking people are asking themselves like, but they're so young, so I want to speak a little bit to our experience and the way that you are, because it is not necessarily your diploma or your certification or your initiation into mentoring and holding all of these experiences, but it's about your oracle powers that you have been born with. So both of us, we were born with oracle powers of seeing and sensing uh the outcome in people's lives. Like, we can see the future, we can feel what is blocking them, we can see opportunities for them. As people are talking to us, we feel things for them and about them. And this is not something like, oh, I was born with this gift and it's special. Maybe to a certain degree, but everyone is born with this and you can choose to cultivate it. And we chose to cultivate it because this is our path. And even though you have like a physical diploma of business, guys, you did that university, and you have many other courses in marketing and whatever, and you worked in this kind of environment, that is nothing compared to the experience in which you have been, and life initiated you, because at this very young age you've been through a lot. And I feel like people in their 40s go through these things, so that's why you have the answer for them.
Yeah, literally. Yeah, like my clients, even the last one that I had, she was like 40 something and she was going through the same things that I went through just a couple of months ago. So for me, it's definitely not about the age, but about the wisdom, because you can see so many teachers that are so poorly lacked in human emotional skills, even if they know what you're talking about. And I think there's more depth to us and to what is happening here. And actually, I just recorded another podcast episode that you can check out about me talking about these spiritual gifts, because when we're talking about leading from the edge of God and from the highest edge of consciousness, it is actually about being one with your spiritual gifts, because everybody has them: intuition, clairvoyance, clairaudience. It is about you letting go of the human mind, of the human self that says, I know better, and you just get into the space of higher consciousness, that is either through a meditation, through a ceremony, through like some sort of practice that is bringing you closer to God and to divinity. And for some people this can be very religious, or maybe they do this through religion, but again, I see people who are very religious but still very stuck in their limitations. So there is definitely some sort of discrepancy there. It needs to be applied spirituality, applied embodiment. And for some time, even I wasn't understanding all of these. Like, how do you apply high consciousness and embodiment into God? And it's, well, you've taught me also a lot about this, of like, okay, let's get into a ceremony and connect with what is the highest answer that needs to come through us. We need to make a very big business decision, like, for example, how we have been doing lately, because we're growing our own businesses and the business together. Okay, what is the highest the intelligence trying to tell us? What is the answer that is coming through the field? What is something higher than us guiding us in this process, and how is this process coming through? Because people think through analytics, people think through ROIs, and I'm not saying that it's bad to be practical or like logical, but there is one point in which you have to give into God.
Yeah, that's your edge, because you will feel it. Like, I want to talk about a little bit how does it feel to make decisions from this edge, and how does it feel like to live from the edge, because most of the visionary and intuitive leaders that are watching us, I'm sure that you feel inside of you that there's a part of you that is like, you need to expand here, you're afraid of this, you need to grow because of this. And there's a part of you that wants to keep it safe, that wants to play safe, that wants to stay small. A part of you that is like, no, let me not share my failures, let me just keep my head high and just stay in this energy of success, while you are neglecting and suppressing the energy of failure, and you're closing yourself to life because you feel like you cannot share what you're going through with everyone. So you're actually putting a very big pressure on yourself, and you're trying to make life happen from a contracted place. And this is what we teach leaders and entrepreneurs. we are taking you in these spaces of your body in which you see that you're not listening to your oracle gifts, in which you're not listening to your body that knows better than what is on the paper. And most of the times, even in a structured, practical, logical business, intuition and magic will make much more sense, because this is what it's in the jinkies, in the system that I'm working with and what I'm teaching. Even if it looks like a failure, you have to follow the path. You have to stay devoted and committed with no judgment, with no sorry. And then that energy of failure that is in appearance of failure, it will transform into a success. Because this is devotion. This is the Jinki 29 of commitment. This is about you being totally committed to your path and your mission, staying with your heart open, with no judgment, with no agenda, and you're just letting life guide you, even if it seems dangerous. And most of the times we've been making dangerous decisions that didn't make sense for the mind, like literally living for a few days with almost zero money in our bank account, and just letting life guide us and going to places with no money in our bank account and living the most luxurious life.
Now, as you speak this, it sounds like we are some sort of monks that are like, let me live a few days without any money, and I'm just letting myself be guided by life. In those moments, it felt very human.
Yeah.
But at the same time,
It felt fun.
It also felt interestingly peaceful.
Yes.
Because I've regulated and calmed my nervous system down so much to understand what is the process and not be scared, not go into fight or flight or...
Yeah. That you're still safe when you have nothing. And this is what most leader and very high achievers are afraid of, to have nothing, to arrive in a point of failure. But they forgot that it's them who created the millions.
Yeah.
And it will be them who will experience the nothingness. But that nothingness, as you said, is teaching you how to have more responsibility with bigger sums of money and with bigger responsibility. Because you will see that when you have nothing, that you're in peace, that you're like, I have nothing, so I have nothing to be stressed about, in a way, because you're like finally giving into God, you're finally surrendering to the nothingness. And then when you start to have a little bit more money, at least for me, I become so stressed, I become so anxious. I'm like, oh my God, let me save this, let me do this, let me put it away, let me buy this, let me,
Interesting.
Yeah, it was very interesting for me.
Yeah.
So it gave me a lot of peace, and I realized so many times that it's still me, and I'm still living the luxurious life that I want in the same way. Maybe I'm not going out so much anymore, and we're not buying like so many clothes and the things that we want. But even though those desires fade away in those kind of moments, it's like you're really coming so close to God, and that moment of nothingness and living on the edge will bring you the next level of expansion if you learn how to stay with it and how to let it move through your body. And I'm telling you, it can feel quite pleasurable to be in the nothing.
Yeah, I feel like this is another piece that people need to understand, of like how to actually stay in this process, like the leading edge of consciousness and of expansion. Part of it is to actually just sit with the process and just breathe through it, breathe through the uncomfortability. If there's something that you need to do that is uncomfortable, or a situation on the outside that is very highly triggering and uncomfortable, like just sitting with it, and sometimes letting life move it, like letting life guide you in those spaces and let it transform it. Like, you don't need to necessarily do something about it from the outside. Sometimes you don't even need to do a meditation or like to fix it, because we used to do that in the past a lot, like instantly try to fix it and spiritualize everything. But like sometimes you just need to like anchor into love, and that's it. Or sometimes you just have to stay also mad.
Exactly.
That's also good.
Exactly. This is what we teach. I feel like our approach to healing and feeling life and scaling life, business, whatever, has changed a lot, because we evolved a lot, and we even kind of like exited this healing space, healing community, because yes, we are building a healing studio, but it looks different. We're not about healing or trying to repair or fix it, but we're about sitting with it and seeing what kind of gift that is bringing, because these kind of processes are happening naturally in our body, moment to moment. This is the power of our DNA. So you're just making space for that to happen, you're just making space for that to become aware of itself. So the healing happens by itself, because the cells are regenerating every single moment. And if we were truly live if we would truly live according to how God wants to live through us, we would live moment to moment without thinking about the next moment, about tomorrow, or without regretting the past, without thinking, oh, what's better, I did it in this way, you know, comparing yourself, limiting yourself.
Yeah, that's another thing that we do, and with personally I learned the hard way is to live moment to moment, and not in the sense that in survival, but actually being so present in the present moment that your mind is not even going to what you're gonna do in the next 5 hours, what you're gonna do for dinner, what you're gonna do next week. And it's not about not making plans and being like wishy-washy or like let's see. You can make plans, but it's about not overthinking and not over strategizing, because I feel like too many people over strategize their lives. There's like the greatest trap of humanity is our minds.
The intellect,
it's literally the intellect, and like the mind that is constantly like that is constantly trying to tell you what to do, where to go, who to call, and all of that. And that type of like heaviness doesn't let the pure consciousness of the body and of life and of God to really penetrate through. Like to really like have this embodied feeling of surrender and presence and pleasure. And this is what we do in our ceremonies. We constantly anchor that feeling, that felt sensation of nothingness, of infinity, of pleasure, of connection with everything, because from that place every resolution, every conflict, everything is solved, and every idea is being born.
Exactly. We want you to feel the power and the depth of this work in your body, because your body and your cells now will feel if you resonate with this. Exactly. Like just receive this information as if we are talking to the library of consciousness that you are, and you let your DNA come more and more alive, and you will feel downloads coming through. This literally in itself, it's a mentoring session and a transmission that will transform you.
Yeah, you should take some notes.
Yeah.
I feel like another thing that is coming through about living at the edge, something that maybe it's surprising to you, but it's actually speaking what's on our heart.
Yes, this is living on the edge. Yes.
Living on the edge by speaking your emotions and speaking the things that you feel are in the field, are in your heart. That is gonna expand your edge. That is gonna expand your capacity in your relationships. Like people are so afraid of revealing your hearts and going to people pleasing, going to avoiding, going to all of these things to avoid just to share what is true in your heart, because you're so afraid of rejection.
And people are afraid to be seen because nobody is seeing us when we are growing up, unless you have a very lucky, loving family. But it is true. I feel like people don't speak from their hearts because they don't know how. And they also are afraid, as you said, to be judged, to be rejected. And that will keep them stuck in the same identity, in the same loop. People are afraid to be romantic, to express their love from the very first time, even if they feel it. People are afraid to be poets. People are afraid to be rebels and to be free. People are afraid of
to be friends.
Exactly.
Also.
Yeah, they are afraid to say the thing that is challenging in their business, thinking that I need to go out and do this, and this action will bring me more of this and this, when actually it's not about that. It's about who you be, how you feel, and how you express that moment to moment.
Exactly, and I think it's about peeling all of these layers of inadequacy of who am I supposed to be in the world, and performance, which I found that is very, very frequent even in spiritual mentors, like this performance of like I need to be the leader and I need to say this and I need to prove this. But actually, let me tell you something that really stuck to me. The selling point, let's say, or like the point in which your clients, for example, will say yes to you, it's not about you proving them that you're the best choice for them. How many people say this? It's about you sharing your struggles, being honest, being yourself, and then they will feel the resonance in their body and nervous systems, because they will feel like you have been through the same, you have embodied it, integrated it, and of course you're the obvious choice, because you're just a person who has the solution. It's not about, I was trying to do this in the past of like trying to prove in a way of like, this is what you get in my mentorship and this is who you become. But was I sharing my deepest struggles and parts of me? without any agenda, without any marketing tactic, like no. And this is why a lot of the times I was feeling very stuck, very low, and very misunderstood. But the moment I started to connect more with the field and understand people's nervous system and like become one with that person in ceremony, I understand exactly what it takes for somebody to say yes to you and to recognize you and to see you.
This is very powerful information, because I feel like this was also the biggest point in my expansion, in which I started realizing that because I'm a mentor, I don't really share the hardships that I'm going through with Instagram, with my community, with my clients. I was putting on a facade that I have everything together, that everything is going perfectly. And then I felt actually very lonely. Like I felt like nobody's listening to me, nobody's asking about me. I don't have such a strong community as I thought. So then I started sharing how I feel from my heart, and I started reaching out to people and making friends. Like also letting them be my friends, because I realized that people want to be my friends in that very deep sense of asking me how I am and checking up on me and holding the emotional space. So I feel like this was also very powerful, as you share. Like I I needed to share with my clients what I'm going through, so they see me as human, and they can also see that, yeah, she figured out, she has a solution, and that's why I'm just one step ahead of you. That's why I'm a mentor. This is what it means to be a mentor, to share from your lived experience. It's not like coaching according to a book, giving you some kind of crazy direction. No, it's just about how life wants to move through you and you getting out of that way of that process.
Exactly. So when you think about it, this is the most powerful asset to have. Like to have somebody who has lived through that and can support you in doing the same.
Yeah, self mastery.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I feel like we're speaking to the hearts of a lot of very powerful leaders and CEOs, because they feel this pressure of being perfect. They feel like maybe nobody's there to support them. And that's why we are holding these spaces for you that are very private and discreet. And you can come and you can share everything that you're going through, knowing that we deeply feel you. And if you resonate with us, it means that you have to receive some lessons and some solutions that you're going through.
Exactly. I love this. Yeah. I feel like another point in like expanding in your edge and in your consciousness is like, I'm sure many people know this, but like maybe more need to embody this. It's like making the choice before it's even apparent.
Yes, 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 yes.
Making the choice before the universe says yes, you can, because this is what we did all of our lives. Like we made the choice to start our own businesses before it was even a thing, like to have a spiritual business.
Yeah.
Especially where we come from.
Yeah.
And we did that before we got the approval of like, yes, you can do this. Yes, it will be successful. Yes, you will help a lot of people. Yes, you will be powerful. You moved countries. You can, sorry.
No, I just wanted to say that we started to act as if we have like a real business before we even made it real.
Yeah, when I was asking for like 10 euros for my oracle readings, I was feeling like a boss bitch when I had one client that was sending me that. I was like, yeah!
It's about the feeling.
Yeah.
10 euro for you can feel like a million for other people. I always say this.
Exactly. And so many times in which, for example, you moved countries without knowing what will happen there. Like in my case, I was always, I want to say I was kind of following her, but I was just like,
She was following me.
I was just like, let me go where my sister is, because otherwise I'll be depressed.
It's true.
But like, no, she's the initiator. Even in human design, she's the manifestor. I'm manifestor generator. She's like the rock. She's the vision. Sometimes I have the vision. But yeah, it's like, yeah, you have to start and then I will kind of follow.
Yes, exactly, because that's the generator part.
Yeah, so you move to Bali, or you move to Milan, you move to Bali without any idea of what will happen. And then you just came to Dubai for like 2 weeks and then started living here. And I was like, okay, let me come here too.
Yeah, so random, but so destined and so divinely guided, you know?
Yeah, it's like you trusted the feeling before it was even like a felt tangible outcome in the outer reality. And for me, sometimes this was very hard because it's almost like your body and mind are pushing through the limitations of the old self of like, but no, I cannot do this, I cannot have it. But it's like the moment you say yes to those things that you want without having them,
without having the evidence.
Yeah, without,
you don't need an evidence in the outer reality.
Without, you say yes to those without having them yet.
Yes.
That is when they will start to materialize in your life.
Yeah.
Like so many times I manifested like huge increases of income in my business, or just, I don't know, beautiful experiences with men. It's like I was just trusting that before, and I was taking the action based upon that, and that was
I want to say that we also played in this dangerous way in the field in which we were like, in a few days, let's say that we make an appointment that we don't have the money for, but then we're gonna make it happen. Or we are aiming for this kind of like very big thing that we don't have, again, the money or the resources for, or we don't know how it's gonna happen, but we're going for it. Like, it's done, it's in the field, you know? We don't wait for evidence. Like, it will appear as you go. You want a thing and you're gonna go for it. You don't care about the about how it's gonna happen, you know? You just stay focused on the feeling that you will feel in the outcome.
Yeah, I think most of the work that most people need to do, and I also felt this for myself, is letting go of the how. It's like letting go of the how in the process, but the more that you're tapped into the higher consciousness and you're into God, and you're like really feeling that inside of you, which again in the past I was not doing all the time, that is when you understand that infinity exists. Infinite solutions happen at the speed of light. So how can you, why are you even asking how? Like, why are you even concerned with how, when there's so much consciousness out there to be explored, that and to be tapped in, that it doesn't matter the how, it's just gonna happen.
In the end, it's true. It's all that matters is that it's constantly consciousness that is expanding and energy that is recreating itself. It doesn't matter that you do business in this way or in that way, that you have this outcome or that outcome. Like, God doesn't give a fuck about any of those things.
Yeah, and I feel like God is very funny.
Yes, it is, huh?
It's very funny. Like, it will just
play with you
so much, and you will feel so hurt. You will feel so hurt, like something that is like a child that is taking, you know, his or her toy is being taken away, and you will feel so hurt. But at the same time, if you really connect, you will hear the laughter of God in the background of like, you know, the other shoe will drop and you will understand why. But sometimes you just have to stay in that suffering for like days in a row, because that's everything that you can do.
I feel like the pain and the suffering is in the ego that is constantly dying, because as the Jinkies say, as the genetic intelligence of our body says,
you're either dying
or transcending. Exactly. So you are either dying in this moment from an old definition of yourself that was limiting you, or you are transcending some old definition of yourself. And the transcendence feels like, I can grow from pleasure, from expansion, and then dying feels like I will grow from pain.
Yeah. And sometimes life will feel like that. Yeah. I always go back to this definition of like, no, I'm transcending. By the way, she has a really funny video from like 2 years ago where she was like saying that in a very funny.
You can go on my Instagram and check the reels.
Scroll.
It's black and white.
Black and white. She will be like a very funny little quirky
robot.
I'm like, we're the dying or transcending?
To the highest frequency.
That is when we were transcending in Bali after fucking weeks of dying.
Let's say one example of us living on the edge, which is with the house that we were living in.
You guys hear us out.
We needed to live in a house. We needed to find a place, and it was the date in which we needed to move. That was on a Sunday, and on a Saturday before, we still didn't have the place, and we thought we're gonna have one place that one woman recommended, talking about transcending timelines. So every moment we were like, we thought it is this place, but actually no, it's another one. And then other places were appearing, because this is how you're doing business and things in Bali, from one moment to another. And then on a Sunday morning, we go to this place that a friend of ours recommended, and we entered there, and she was like, when do you want to move? And we're like, now. We literally need to move now. And our ex-villa was just on the other side of the street, so we literally went, grabbed our things, and moved in the house in the same minute.
Yeah, it's like first she said no to that, and then we got the answer the day we needed to move to, or like a night before. Like a night before, we found out that we can move tomorrow to the villa that we wanted.
Yeah, but we didn't even see it, and we went in that day to see it.
No, we didn't.
Yeah.
No, first she just said that the price was like that and we didn't have want to pay the price. And then the morning she was like, that morning she changed her mind and she's like, okay, I'm gonna adjust to the price that you want.
Yes.
And we were like, okay, amazing, because that was our ideal house. The other house was just like, but that wasn't a thing that was like an edge of like
trusting the moment.
That was in the beginning when I started to live in Bali and I was living day to day like that. Like things, it's like that was the most uncomfortable thing for me. When I got to Bali, it wasn't the thing of like the outer reality not serving me in the way that I wanted, but like I was constantly being pushed to let go of my mind that was planning things and trying to make things in her own way. Like, oh, we need to have a house 1 week before because obviously I need to feel safe. I need to have it all. Oh, okay, a few hours before. Find out a few hours before and be okay with it. Move on. Again, this happened many times with many other things. I don't recall now because I feel like they were so frequent, But
you were like almost every day.
Yeah, but like for the first year, let's say,
so tested.
It was this thing of like, again, let go of the plan. And I think this is the case for a lot of people who go to Bali. Actually, it's this surrender piece of like surrender and trust, surrender and trust. But sometimes, especially if you haven't grown up in a household that was nurturing you to feel supported and trust and to feel the trust in no matter what, it's very hard. So
yeah, it's true, because we didn't grow up in a family that felt emotionally supportive, and it was just like a lot of like putting down, a lot of smallness, a lot of no celebration, even though we were very high achievers. And our mom went through a massive shift in her spirituality and in the way that she thinks, thanks to all of the inner work that we did together. And now on each call, each day, every time, she's like, a lot of money and love and abundance are coming to you from all the ways, unconditionally, in unexpected ways. And I told to her, I was like, imagine if you would tell this to your children when we were growing up. How
did you say?
That is the moment when the call interrupted, but she acknowledged that.
Yeah.
Imagine how it would be to grow up in a family where your mom, the most loving person in your life, is constantly giving you affirmations of love and abundance. And now I feel like I received this morning this appreciation and this kind of like encouragement from her, and my whole day just like opened up to a whole new dimension, and I was like, this is the support that I needed.
Exactly. I was actually writing a post about this before because I was like, yeah, this is the energy of that you need to start embodying if you haven't received it in childhood, like this self-love, self-gratification, like affirmations of like, I can do this, because that will shift your mindset. Like when something happens, you're not gonna go into like, oh, how can I make this happen? You're just gonna be like relaxed and in peace, and it's gonna solve itself.
Yeah, but I feel like I want to speak a little bit to these deeper layers of this work, because yes, you can receive all of these words of encouragement from the outside, and you can reprogram your mind to believe all of this affirmation of abundance and success, but there's a imposter inside of you that will always block you from feeling like that is true. So I feel like in our work, what we do with people is that we first go into those subconscious, shadowy imposter part of you, and we reprogram that, and that is just chemistry in the body. We make peace with that, and then the voice that was stopping you, that was telling you that it's not possible, that you cannot do this, will turn into abundance, into encouragement, into self-appreciation and self-mastery. It's just about shifting the frequency, and that can happen instantly, but it's also nice to be held in a mentorship container where you can experience this very deep transformation constantly, And I feel like I want us to speak about the Queen.
That's what I wanted to say. I would like tell people about your work and our work together.
So we both have a mentorship container together that is the most powerful program that we are taking women through. It is for 6 months. It is called the Queen, because we are helping you embody this most high archetype that a woman can be in. From the energy of the Queen, everything is arranging according to your command. So you will feel chosen by your clients, by your business, by the right man, and by God. You will not feel separated from life anymore, but you will feel how everything is just a constant receivership, and you feel worthy to ask for what you want no matter how it looks like.
Exactly. Like we're working on the levels of self-worth. This is how the queen shows up on the self-worth. Not putting men on a pedestal, not putting her desires on a pedestal, but actually feeling worthy of them from within and being detached from even receiving them. We're working on the level of pleasure, of sensuality, of femininity, feeling like she's the queen without having to give her body in return to men for something. And knowing how to also transcend all of the pain and the suffering with the power of her pleasure in her body and her sensuality. And we're also working on the levels of mastery of this high consciousness, of business, of
Everything
love, of intimacy, of relationships. And the price of this mentorship is at 25,000 euros. And it is right now open for one queen who is ready to come and be served by us.
So if you're interested to read more details about this mentorship, you have the link down below, and this is by application only. So if you feel like you want to be part of this, please send us a private message and we will have a call with you and we will tune into your energy and see if you're a good fit for this program. Thank you for tuning in. Let us know in the comments down below what's your favorite takeaway, and we will see you next time.